For joining us. Interesting that you are representing Biti, but you're just telling me that you were arrested with him. How does that work?
Well, the days preceding this, there had been an avalanche of rogue state apparatus that had been sent to basically kill him. And they were also after his family, friends, and everyone who is associated with him. So we sought to go and seek political asylum in Zambia, and then we were arrested at the Churundi border on our way to seek political asylum in Zambia. Then we were deported back to Zimbabwe. We were then made to appear in court. He appeared in the Harare Magistrate Court. We then appeared in the Karoi Magistrate Court.
And he has been specifically charged with contravening the Electoral Act. What were you charged with?
Well, we are not very clear as to what exactly the charge is, but it appears that at least on the indictment, that the allegation is that we left the country without passing through a port of entry. But as far as we are concerned, the Churundi border post is a port of entry. So we wait to see what it is that the state is going to bring. Our trial commences on Friday. All
right. As it stands, Tendai Biti, of course, has been convicted now. What was his response to that conviction?
Well, it's a sense of that we saw this coming a long time ago. You would also remember that there were multiple of interlocking applications that were done. One, firstly, that he was not properly before court, and secondly, the application for the recusal of the magistrate, effectively, who had convicted him during a bail application, which is something you cannot do. So this, to some extent, creates a reasonable perception that the judicial process is now being used for political ends. This conviction has no basis in law whatsoever. The facts presented in court do not reconcile with
But what he's being accused of is announcing that the MDC had won the election before the IEC had actually made the pronouncement. And as we would recall, that was part of what led to that post-election violence that we saw. So is there some kind of responsibility that he takes?
Look, the Electoral Act does not bar anyone from any member of a political party from collecting results, and having collected results, and you say, from our collection of results, because the MDC had election agents at every other polling station in the country. And the system in Zimbabwe is that at a polling station, the results are announced outside the very polling station. So the results are posted outside the polling station. So what a political party would do is to collect those results from every polling station in the country and say, from our collection of results, it is indicative that President Nelson Chamisa had won the election. So essentially, the election results are not announced by ZEC at the national office. They are announced at each polling station. So what Tendai Biti...
Yes, but even that system in itself, even that process can be flawed. No. Surely there must be some kind of credence given to official processes that then come and vet the votes. I hear completely what you're saying, because that same system applies in South Africa. But if it were left to every party to say, well, we've won the election based on what we're able to gather, it may cause chaos.
No, you're missing the point. I'm saying to you, at a polling station, the presiding polling officer at the polling station concerned, with all the participants in that election, agree that the results that have been collected at this polling station are correct. They take those results and post them outside the polling station. So those results have been announced. So you do that at every other polling station in the country. What you then simply do is to take the results of all those polling stations and say the tally on Nelson Chamisa is X, the tally on Mr. Mnangagwa is Y, and you say from our tallying of the results, it's indicative that Mr. Chamisa has won the election. That's simply because the results, essentially, the point I'm making to you is that the results are announced at a polling station by the posting of those results outside the polling station. So what Tendai Biti was referring to is a collection of polling station results, which collection is indicative of the results at a national level.
So as it stands, given that the court, and I understand, has been fined, I think, $200, is it US dollars?
Well, we don't know. In Zim, there's this issue that there's this fake money that they call RTGS and bond notes and the US dollar. So we don't know which exactly of the two they're referring to. But the point, yes, he has been.
What are the lessons that you draw from all of this?
Well, the lessons is that it is very important that a judicial process be be purified from the politics, that the judicial process remains a process through which issues of law should be adjudicated. Because if you are going to take political differences and descend them into a judicial process and corrupt the judicial process, it has the effect of poisoning the entire politics. Because the effect of this judgment essentially is one, that it has an effect on civil and political rights of people. The right to freedom of expression is captured in Section 61 of the Constitution, because he announced the results as far as the collation is concerned. Secondly, it has an effect on Section 67, which relates to rights to political activity. And most importantly, Tendai is a practicing lawyer in Zimbabwe. He has been a prominent lawyer over a very long time. And this conviction has an effect to say that he cannot practice law in Zim. They are doing to Tendai what they did to Mandela and Oliver Tambo during the apartheid regime.
All right, let's leave it there for this afternoon. And we'll wait and see what becomes of your court case that's taking place later on in the week.